Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about the WWE Monday Night Raw, August 3rd, 2026 review. My thoughts on this show. It's going to surprise a lot of you guys. The show did not suck. Believe it or not. It was actually a good show. It was a good show. It was entertaining. Had storyline progression through each and every segment, mostly. And it didn't feel lifeless. How long will this last? Not very long. I think by next week we should get a shit show. There was a lot of good things that happened on the show. There were. There's probably some things I may be missing out on and not catching that others will. But for me, I thought it was alright. I thought it was very entertaining. It kept my attention from beginning to end. And this show does not do that very often. Very rarely do I get uber excited about a Monday Night Raw episode after it goes off the air. This shocked me. I really thought we were going to get a big giant wad of shit. There was a ton of stuff to happen on this show tonight. They moved Roman Reigns and LA Knight to a storyline progression where LA Knight may actually challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. And LA Knight stated something. He said, "You may have won this match clean with Seth Rollins, and me and Seth, we both thought you were going to have to cheat to win, but you didn't. You won clean, and I admire that, but I still think you're a fraud." And what we saw later on in the show proved it. He's telling the entire bloodline giving them orders what to do, telling them, hey, you have to win. That's the whole point of all this, or what's the point of the bloodline existing? We have to hold a higher standard. We have to win all the time. Sounds very familiar. One thing I will admit that's a humongous flaw in all of this is that Roman is 1 minute babyface, next minute heel Roman. I can't tell what he is. He is so bipolar, it's not even funny. The way they have him come across on television. At the end of the show, he's giving the ones up to Jacob Fatu for nearly destroying a man because he feels that they were like brothers. And they shared bedrooms together because they didn't have enough money to live. So they shared a place together in a 1-bedroom place, and obviously slept on separate beds, I would hope. It'd be a little creepy. But he was encouraging and happy at the idea that Jacob Fatu went ahead and almost killed another human being that looked at him like a brother. Jacob Fatu's being controlled. You also hear him stating in the street fight, "This is not my doing. I have to do this. You have to stay out of the bloodline business, the family business," and all this other type of nonsense. Now, from all of what you get from that match alone tells you everything of Jacob Fatu and where he's at in his career. He is basically Roman Reigns' bitch. He is controlled and run by Roman Reigns. Whatever Roman says, he does. Whatever Roman tells him not to do, he has to acknowledge that and not do it. Prime example of that was LA Knight walking past the Bloodline tonight after their promo, and him telling them leave LA Knight alone. Roman comes behind him after the conversation was over and said, "Oh, you and you have to do what Daddy Roman tells you to do, or he'll put you over his knee and spank your ass." And he says, "I'll take my Walmart watch and bags here, and I'm going to head on out tonight and enjoy the rest of my night. My day's done. See you all later. Yeah." Thought that was pretty entertaining to see. Big Cass showed up after Javon Evans had his match with Ethan Page. And match was whatever. They claim that they fought each other 5 different times before this one. I believe they competed at least twice on WWE main roster, and on NXT they did it like 3 other times on the NXT brand. So, whatever. But the thing that came out of this was Big Cass showing up, destroying Javon Evans. Later on in the show, we got Big Cass interviewed backstage. Funny thing is, I wish they would have like a little set, Monday Night Raw set, where they stand in front of and they're interviewed. These guys are being interviewed like they're in the like they're a low-grade wrestling promotion or something. It comes across so fucking awkward. But I digress. So he's interviewed. He explains that it's been 10 plus years of me working through the mud, getting myself back here, and being here in WWE. I am going to leave a trail of bodies. This was not personal to Javon Evans. It's just business. Or something of that kind of nature, he said. And he went ahead and he said that it's not personal in any way, and it won't be the last body I put down. So his goal ultimately is to destroy everyone on the main roster or something. Good luck with that. I'm sure eventually Triple H will fuck you up. As well as any other person involved in creative. We'll figure out a way to make you look less of than what you did here tonight. Granted, I don't know, maybe there was a better way to introduce him, but then again, if he's by himself, he ain't with, Enzo Amore. I mean, what is he gonna do? Come out being comedic? No. I think this was probably the best position they could have put him in. He explained himself. It wasn't a personal thing. It's more along the lines like, I'm here to prove that I'm a monster, and people need to be afraid of what I'm going to do here. And that's pretty much what I got out of what they were trying to tell with Big Cass. We had a vignette video of Brock Lesnar with Godsmack I Stand Alone playing in the background as they showed the highlights of Brock Lesnar's career. Had different dialogue that was discussed throughout the years about Brock Lesnar and what he's done in MMA and in professional wrestling. Also his comeback to WWE in 2012 all the way up to now. And just the fact that he had tons of people that have a load of respect for the man, for what he did for this business and what he provided in this company, bringing out realism to the WWE. Roman Reigns at the end of this entire video said, "Thank you very much for the time you served here, and thank you for helping me be the superstar I've become." I think that was where it was getting at with that, or at least remotely close to what I said is what he said. After that segment was over, Obafemi walked up to Paul Heyman, who was standing in the hallway. I don't know why these guys don't have locker rooms or something like that, their own personal rooms, but apparently they're showing off how bad financially they're doing. But they keep claiming they're doing the best business they've ever done since the Attitude Era. But they can't afford to give these guys fucking their own personal rooms. So, okay, whatever. So, Obafemi walks up to Paul Heyman, who's watching the monitor in the hallway of the backstage. And Obafemi walks up to him and says, "Tell Brock Lesnar he earned my respect. Tell him I thank him for everything he's done. And for him doing what he did with me." And Paul said it would be my pleasure to bring that to Brock Lesnar. And that I think he did say that Oba earned his respect as well. So, we move on to where Obafemi cuts his promo. Finally gets to the explanation as to why he changed his mind about Brock Lesnar. He thought it was him just being an asshole, but it was more along the lines of him testing him to see if he could get him into the deep waters and survive. Then after that, getting him inside the Hell in a Cell was the description of him drowning in deep waters, seeing if he can get himself out of it and surviving and overcoming the obstacle. So at the end of the day, he looked at Brock Lesnar as him trying to test him and help him evolve and become the next guy in line to the next beast that would be headlining in WWE. That's a very good way of putting it. So basically, they explain in the sense that Brock Lesnar passed the torch, which is what they stated during the SummerSlam Night 1 event after the match was over. Basically, Brock Lesnar did pass the torch over to Obafemi. Obafemi says that he is the ruler. He is the guy, the conqueror, the warrior, the executioner. I think he said something like that. I don't remember verbatim. I'm not going based off of any script here on how to explain what occurred on this show. This is all based off of memory. And he pretty much said, anybody wants to step up, I'm going to beat their ass. And he's going to become world champion. Now, why Obafemi was not introduced during the segment of Roman Reigns makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. But hey, what do I know? After he was done with his promo, he walked up the aisleway, and Braun Breaker and Obafemi had a stare down that felt like an eternity. It was a sight that I am looking forward to in the future. I want to see these two wrestle. They did wrestle in NXT, but I never seen that match. I never saw the match to begin with, so I don't know how that all unfolded, how their storyline progressed, or how the performance of those two working together really turned out to be. And I don't plan on going back and looking at it. I'd rather see it for the first time under the WWE main roster creative and see how they do with it. Because honestly, if I do a comparison, I might find that WWE's main roster creative absolutely sucks worse than you can possibly imagine, which we don't even need that to assume. We already know that. But this stare down was fantastic. I absolutely loved seeing this. This was great. The tease, the future of this match taking place has to happen. I honestly think it needs to happen over the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. A lot of people would disagree with me about Braun Breaker right now, and I understand that. But it's time to push the needle and get shit going with this young roster. There are so many guys. So many guys over the age of 40 carrying around championships. We need to get new faces, young blood, guys that are going to last another 10 to 15 years. Because the guys that are carrying the titles are already near the end of that. We need guys in their early 30s. I'll even go as far as mid-30s. I would like some guys in their late 20s that have even more time, like an Austin Theory, but Austin Theory right now, he looks like a good mid-card wrestler with Maxime Dupree on his side. They're a great combination, the two of them. I think they make a great combo as a heel group. But as main event, no. I see Austin Theory like Tori and X-Pac with Maxime Dupree, in a sense. Only, I think Austin Theory is a much better wrestler than X-Pac. X-Pac wasn't bad by any means, but I think Austin Theory is a better wrestler. But yeah, Braun Breaker, after the stare down, had a match with Joe Hendry. Beat him in less than 5 minutes. Joe Hendry is a fucking jobber. Why, he moved on from TNA, who was treating him like an actual something. He was a main eventer, and he was treated as a top-tier talent on that roster is beyond me. Why he left for WWE to treat him like he's garbage, I don't know. 1+ for tonight. No Danhausen found at all. Or at least I missed it. And if I did, thank God. But yeah, I was a little bit behind, so I was skipping through commercials. I might have skipped over a segment that had Danhausen, and if I did, oh well, thank God. What else? Becky Lynch, she returned to the WWE. She went face-to-face with Liv Morgan. They had a conversation over the title. Raquel Rodriguez apparently has now turned that WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship in her own version of a hardcore title. Because she has barbed wire wrapped around it for some oddball reason. It's not real barbed wire. If it was, she'd be in severe pain holding that against her chest. But it's meant to, be barbed wire without actually hurting anyone when they press it up against their skin. I don't know why she needs barbed wire around a hardcore Intercontinental Championship, but that's beyond me. It looks good if it was an actual hardcore title. If it was a women's hardcore title, I think it would look really cool with the barbed wire wrapped around. It looks ridiculous. I don't understand why she needs a barbed wire wrapped around a fucking Intercontinental Championship, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and harp on one little thing that I find to be retarded, while the rest of the show, majority-wise, was not bad at all. But yeah, Liv Morgan does her spiel. Oh, I'm the greatest women's world champion of all time. Like, look, I understand you're a heel lady, but shut the fuck up, please. You're annoying. You're not even heelish. You're just annoying. Just put a sock in your mouth and everyone will be happy. You're not playing a heel. You're just being annoying. That's all you're doing. You're no help to society. Please, just stop. Roman Reigns is a heel, even though he tries to be a babyface at the same time. But he's a fucking heel. And he ain't annoying. You're annoying. Dominic Mysterio ain't annoying. You're annoying. So just stop being annoying. And play a heel, please. And enough with the greatest women's world champion of all time. I don't care. You're not. You haven't defended the title but one fucking time, which I thought Io Sky should have won, so we could get to the fucking point of Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley and finish that story. But I guess we're not going in that direction. So Becky Lynch, she did a lot of talking back and forth with her. Stephanie Vaquer showed up. And this made Liv Morgan concerned. Because she said, oh shit. You could read her lips. She said, oh shit. Stephanie Vaquer showed up, attacked the entire Judgment Day, and one thing led to another, and that was that. Becky Lynch and Stephanie Vaquer also had a stare down after Becky watched her beat the shit out of Liv Morgan. And Vaquer told Becky to stay out of her way, and Becky said, or what? And they just had a stare down continuously. So obviously this is probably going to lead to a women's number one contenders match for the women's world title. Becky Lynch and Vaquer, I'm down for. I would like to see how Stephanie Vaquer holds up against a prime leader in the women's division like Becky Lynch and see how she performs, because Liv Morgan ain't that, but she's been the women's world champion on and off for the last 2 years now. So, nothing to cry home about. Solo Ruka. I keep thinking Soruka is Solo Sikoa. Sol Ruka had a match, I think before this segment, with Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez and her ended up being a disqualification. So I don't think anyone won this matchup, and then I think they went into that segment as well. And that's how all this, what I just stated, unfolded. So that's another portion of the show that occurred. Jacob Fatu and Royce Keys had a street fight main event match. This led to this happened because Royce Keys walked into Jacob Fatu's locker room. Holy shit, they actually have a locker room for Jacob Fatu, but the rest of the bloodline, they were all sitting outside. Kind of weird. But anyway, they go ahead. They have a conversation. Jacob Fatu says, we ain't brothers. We ain't nothing to each other. The bloodline's my family. You're nothing to me. And I'm going to prove that tonight while we have a street fight here. And I'm going to beat your ass. And I'm going to have no brakes, all gas with it. That bullshit he says. Main event was awesome. Thought these two had a good matchup. This could have made us, it could have been qualified for a SummerSlam match, honestly, if there was a storyline build behind it going into SummerSlam. Had we gotten that, I think that would have been the appropriate match to book here for SummerSlam, and I think it was very good. But it left a cliffhanger on this show, and once again, Triple H continues to prove he can book a show. He just don't want to. He ain't incompetent. He ain't stupid. He knows how to book a show. He just don't want to. He's lazy. He don't give a fuck. He has the knowledge, but he don't want to execute it because that means work for him. So once in a blue moon, he'll throw you a bone. Say, here you go. Here's a good show for you to enjoy. And they're good. But most of the time, he gives a shit. Because he don't want to put the time and effort into it. So he just throws a bunch of shit together like slop and says, eat it or leave it. Most people nowadays are leaving it and not eating it. So, that's what it is. One other thing I'll mention that happened on this show tonight was Chad Gable. Chad Gable went ahead. They showed the a video package after Chad Gable won the Intercontinental title. They had the root beer Mud Dog root beer mascot show up and gave Chad Gable 2 cans of root beer to chug down. And apparently, from what other people's reviews said, that he was trying to imitate Stone Cold Steve Austin in a way. I did not see this segment because probably after the match was over, I had my face in my phone, and that was it. Didn't catch it. That's the reason why I didn't mention that on my review last night. So I do apologize for missing that. That is absolutely horrendous. I thought they just went to him celebrating in the ring with his family, and him telling people his background story, where he came from, what he's done, and now that he can now say he's won his first ever WWE Singles Championship in his career. But unfortunately, we had to have an advertisement while he celebrated with his family. But we made sure we cut that picture out of the whole entire video package they showed here tonight. Thought that was funny. So he pretty much reiterates himself a little bit more about this. And he basically says that he doesn't feel like he deserves any of this. He feels like he's earned what he's gotten. And he thanks the fans. He thanks Penta for an awesome match. Penta came out and congratulated him and said we stole the show, which they did not. I thought it was a good match, but it was not a show stealer by any means. I don't know where they came up with that idea to have Penta say we stole the show. You didn't steal shit. That was Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins stealing the show, as they should, since it was their last time ever they were going to ever face each other, at least for now, anyway. And we basically had Penta and Chad Gable thanking each other for a great match, blah, blah, blah. And then, all of a sudden, Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough felt that it was necessary and needed for them to come out after they already lost to Danhausen and a bunch of midgets in a Human Money's on a Pole match that I didn't even watch, even though it was shown on my television set. I didn't even watch it. I was too busy looking at my phone because I did not give a flying fuck. And if you want to go back and listen to my review on that, I gave it a 0. Because I didn't watch it. I didn't care to watch it. It didn't mean anything to me whatsoever. So, there you go. So, Dominic Mysterio said he's the best luchador wrestler, not him, not Penta, nobody but him. He's the best Rey Mysterio of all time, blah, blah, blah. And he's the AAA World Champion. That makes him the best luchador in pro wrestling. Now, my attitude's real simple. I'd love to see Chad Gable defend the Intercontinental title with Dominic Mysterio at the AAA Mega Show that they're doing in September, and have it as a title for title match. I think that would be awesome. I think that would get a lot of people that generally watch WWE mainstream or main roster television interested in seeing this match on a AAA show, and that would also bring eyes over to that show that are unfamiliar and haven't taken the time to do so, by bringing them over and seeing that other talent that they haven't seen yet or paid attention to, and say, maybe we'll give them a try and watch it week to week on a Saturday night or something, or in their free time on YouTube. I think that would be fucking great idea to do. Have Chad Gable go over, he's a double champion, and then you have Chad Gable lose the title to whoever you want at that point. The IC Championship, and leave him with the AAA title. Have him appear on AAA as well as on the main roster and do his thing there. Just my thoughts. But it is what it is. or have Kaiser El Grande Americano win that title from Dominic Mysterio. That's just my guess. But they had a tag team match, which I thought was going to be a Intercontinental title match. It did not. It turned it into a tag team match. This was the co-main event before the actual main event. And this match was fucking awesome. Great tag team action between these four guys. The Mexican Destroyer on JD McDonough looked bad as shit. I thought JD McDonough got injured again. Hopefully he is not, because he actually moved around near the end and tried to break up the pinfall that Chad Gable executed and got the victory over Dominic Mysterio. But that spot was bad. It wasn't bad, bad looking or bot. It looked like it hurt like a bitch. I mean, I hope he's not severely injured in any way, shape, or form. After Jacob Fatu and Royce Key's match was over, and Roman gave him the one, with Jacob Fatu acknowledging that after he was asked not to drive his ass into fucking Royce Keys' face with the chair around his neck and him bleeding gushes of blood out of his mouth that looked so fake it wasn't even funny. From the claw to the larynx to the throat. Roman Reigns walked backstage and bumped into Rey Mysterio. I was like, wait, why is Rey Mysterio talking to Roman Reigns in any capacity? What do they have to do with each other? And he stated, I don't know if you know this, Roman, but I am the AAA manager. And he says, no, I did not know that, but now I do. So, what do you want? He says, I got a little proposition for you, a little bit of business, something like that, to that nature. And he said, let's go ahead and talk about that. And the show goes off the air. Very interesting. I don't know what the fuck Rey Mysterio has to do with Roman Reigns, but it leaves a cliffhanger. It leaves you going ahead and asking what's next to happen here on the show, and what was the Rey and Roman Reigns situation all about. So, folks, we went from months, fucking months, of terrible programming, and in one night, we got a show that progressed with story after story after... Oh, I forgot one other thing. Braun Breaker went backstage after his encounter with Obafemi and his match was over. Later on in the show, he bumped into Paul Heyman and said, "Where is Obafemi? Do you know where he is?" He said, "Why would I know where Obafemi is? I just talked to him, that's it." He says, "Well, I guess you've made a new friend in Obafemi." And Paul Heyman just was like having a face of, oh God. So, that was another thing I forgot to throw out there in this review. So, didn't want to leave that out because that was kind of interesting. This guy had booked segment after segment after segment with story. He literally showed and proved to us he can book a fucking show. Why are we not getting this consistently? What is so hard about doing this? Put in the time and the effort to book the show with segments, with story and purpose. And if you're not going to do that, then step aside and let someone who will. Because clearly you displayed you can. So Trips, do your fucking job already. Stop robbing people of money and earn their money that they give you guys that you overinflate on. Or otherwise, I hope you go out of fucking business. This show just proved to me, once again, they are more than capable of providing us a good show week to week if they can just do this, what they did tonight. Do this formula and you will succeed. You will get people who want to pay for the shitty ass prices you want people to pay for. I mean, granted, if they can fucking afford it. But meet them halfway if you have to. But give us a good show week after week and people will come. Otherwise, expect what you expected with SummerSlam. Apparently, SummerSlam's ticket sales were so much of a failure, apparently it was a swift kick in Triple H's ass to get his ass to work and actually provide a show for people to enjoy. Congratulations, Triple H, for proving to us you can book a show. Now go about your business and fucking do your damn job. Anywho, thank you guys very much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. I thank you guys very much for watching. And have a great day.